Well, I promised a picture of Frenchman Mountain and Sunrise Mountain from the Las Vegas area so you could see the two of them from the perspective that you see when you're in Las Vegas. And here's Frenchman Mountain. And if you're more broadside to it, you can see the double hump, but I guess you can still see it if you look closely. Two summits. Some people believe that the summit on the left is Sunrise Mountain. Wrong. Sunrise Mountain is actually over here. There is Sunrise Mountain. So now you can see them both. Frenchman Mountain on the right, Sunrise Mountain on the left. We're at the Frenchman Mountain Trailhead on Lake Mead Boulevard in Las Vegas. And you can look down Lake Mead and see Las Vegas. And we are just about at the moment of sunrise. Anyway, 99.9% of the people that park at this trailhead head up the Frenchman Mountain Trail. Beautiful trail. And you can see a page on Frenchman Mountain in LasVegasAreaTrails.com along with a video of that adventure. But today we're going to be the 1.1% of people who go to Sunrise Mountain and thus are beginning at sunrise, just before sunrise. And so we're going to head off in the opposite direction on the other side of Lake Mead from the Frenchman Mountain Trailhead. We're going to head up to this this little hill and find a small trail on the other side that's going to take us through that gap that you see right here. And when we hit the top of this gap, this little saddle, we will get our first look at Sunrise Mountain. Okay, here we go. Now we're at the summit of that little indescript hill that we saw from the Frenchman Mountain Trailhead, which by the way is down by Lake Mead Blvd below. And there's Frenchman Mountain, and you can see the trail in the sunrise as you trace it upward. Frenchman Mountain has a double hump. You get up to the first summit up in this area and you think you've made it, only to look across and find that you've got to descend and then reascend another hump, the second hump. But anyway, as I mentioned, we're not going to Frenchman Mountain today. Let's just take a 360-degree view of where we are. There's that saddle spoke of a moment ago. And looking around, you can see the pretty much exposed geology of this area. And you see slabs, and we'll see a lot more of this today. Slabs that are were once horizontal and have been thrust up by the action of the earth to something like 60 degrees and more angles. Just wanted to show you, there's Las Vegas Strip in the sunrise. Cool picture. Okay, anyway, we are going to Sunrise Mountain, and what you can see here, there's that saddle up ahead. And at the top of this hill, you can see what we call a use trail. Small trail right here that heads up to the saddle and then over. When we hit the top of the saddle, we'll be able to see Sunrise Mountain. But we call it a use trail because it was not constructed. It only exists because people have walked it, used it for over many times and created a little trail. So we're going to go up this use trail and then head towards Sunrise Mountain. Okay, here we go. One more quick note. As you look down at Las Vegas Strip in the sunrise, you see a mountain behind it. That mountain is Potosi Mountain, and there's a page for Potosi Mountain on LasVegasAreaTrails.com. Cool mountain. You got to take a look at the video and the images of Potosi Mountain. Okay, back to Sunrise Mountain, our destination. Here we go. Okay, heading up this little trail, and there's our last view of Las Vegas Strip in the sunrise with Potosi Mountain in the background. And then we'll see more of Frenchman Mountain. But you can see we are in a lot of raw geology here. Not being a geologist, I can't tell you what all this is. Hey, here's a cool cactus. You could tell I'm not a botanist either, but I sure appreciate what I see around here. Okay, heading up this trail toward the saddle, and then you can see, yeah, we have some real barren ridges on either side of us here. Okay, let's head up there and get our first view of Sunrise Mountain in the sunrise. Okay, we are on the saddle, and here's a cool perspective. I didn't think we'd be able to see the Las Vegas Strip from the saddle, but actually we've got a better view than we had below. Potosi Mountain in the background, right in the sunrise. What a beautiful time to be here. And oh, there's Frenchman Mountain. With Lake Mead Blvd at its base. And you can still see part of the Frenchman Mountain Trailhead. There it is. And you can see the trail ascending Frenchman Mountain. But here's the cool thing for today. We turn around this direction and we get our first view, partial view of Sunrise Mountain in the sunrise. How beautiful. And we'll now descend into this valley at the base of Sunrise Mountain. Kind of a cool little valley. You can see there are other points that you can ascend. There's one. And then of course you could ascend this area right here. And we might do this later today on the way back or another day, just to get up to this high point. I bet the view up there is just incredible. But you can see I'll call it the Sunrise Mountain Valley, for lack of better knowledge of what this little valley is. I don't even know if it's got a name, but anyway, yeah, you can see the sunrise over the ridge on the opposite side. The sun is just starting to top that ridge, and it's going to light up Sunrise Mountain even more. So let's head down now into this valley, and let's see what we can see. Okay, continuing down into the valley, and you know, there's Sunrise Mountain emerging even more so. And here you can see the valley, the first light of day. And now we're going to discover how to get up to the summit of Sunrise Mountain. We're going to discover that together today. I have not been there before, as is true of every single adventure on Las Vegas area trails. Almost every adventure. I'd say about 99% of them. Okay, but here's a good sign. There is a cairn here, and it's not the first cairn I've seen. So I'm hoping that when things get a little sketchy, when we're at the base of Sunrise Mountain looking for a way up, that there will be cairns. You know, once you get up on the ridge up here, we're in pretty good shape. I understand that that upper ridge of Sunrise Mountain is a bit like the razor's edge, where there's a drop off on either side, very narrow passage. And so, yeah, you can see the landscape here. We've got to, at some point, top this little high point and then cross the razor's edge and then hit the summit. And as I said, not having been there, I can't say exactly how to do it, but hopefully we'll discover the best route today. And it would be nice if these cairns continued to mark critical pathways. Okay, here we go. Wow, this is pretty nice. That was not a lonely, isolated cairn, but look at this. There are cairns here every 20 to 30 feet. So that's nice. Just follow the cairns, and even when the trail is well defined, you've got all these cairns. In my experience, sometimes I'll find the cairns are in the obvious spot, and then when you reach a point that is a little more sketchy, the cairns suddenly disappear. So let's hope that doesn't happen here, but this is really nice. Somebody has bothered to mark the way very, very well with all these cairns. View of Sunrise Mountain in the sunrise. This is the first Saturday in April, and it should be getting up to close to 90 degrees in this area today. So we're getting about to the last day, week, definitely month of the year that you can really comfortably and safely navigate areas like this down in the Lake Mead area. And you know, I've had in February and March, I spent a quarter of February in the hospital with a couple surgeries, and then another surgery in March. It really helps to know that you're looking forward to something in order to aid in your recovery, give yourself a goal. And so, you know, here I am, one more surgery to go, and that'll happen later in April, but still out exploring. And this is just really the inspiration that fuels me. Okay, and here you can see up toward the saddle we just passed through. And this high point, I want to go up to this high point at some point, because I think that would be an awesome view. I've been on the other side of that point and seen some of the other high points in this Sunrise Mountain Valley that can be summited in you know, in future adventures. Also, there's an interesting destination called Gypsum Cave in this area. It's a little further out, but we'll hit that at some point too, probably next winter or maybe late fall. On the other side of Sunrise Mountain, we will see Nellis Air Force Base. And when we're all done with this, I passed through the area on the way to the trailhead this morning. It was still dark. And so what I'm going to do is on the way back, I'll stop and give you a perspective from the Las Vegas area of where Frenchman Mountain is and where Sunrise Mountain is. They're pretty distinct points. And it's interesting to at least see them from your normal perspective in Las Vegas. Okay, onward. This was a bit unexpected, descending through a beautiful red rock wash here. And these red rocks actually are ancient sand dunes from the Jurassic era, the era of the dinosaurs. And so there you have it. The red is from iron leaching up through the soil into the sand dunes, and then they froze and they're rock hard now. So yeah, it's nice that we still have the cairns here. So let's just imagine that these cairns are going to guide us the entire way. That's looking back up toward the saddle that we just passed through. I'm just giving you a good perspective of where we are, and in case you're traveling this for the first time. This is really interesting. I think the difference between this trail and the Frenchman Mountain trail across Lake Mead, one difference that I noticed immediately is that there is a lot more solitude. Like I said, over 99% of all people go up Frenchman Mountain. Here there's a lot of solitude, and yeah, I enjoy Frenchman Mountain and enjoy seeing people on the trail. That's always nice to travel a well-traveled trail, and you can run that Frenchman Mountain trail, you can walk it, you can use it as a workout. Here though, I think it's a lot more interesting to go in this direction towards Sunrise Mountain, which is right ahead there, because you know the land is more interesting. The trail is more narrow, so you get more of an experience of just being out in the desert area, largely untouched because very few people go here. And here is another cairn. So wow, that is a lot of cairns. Okay, continuing on. Wow, look how this rock has been worn. There are little tips that did not erode as fast as the area underneath if you look very closely. Very, very interesting. Looks like it's got a little hairdo. And continuing to wind down through this little canyon as we very soon will open up into the base of Sunrise Mountain. And by the way, yeah, let's take a look at where we came from. You can see some high points around us. In fact, I stood on a high point right at the base of this rise, and then went down to the saddle last week in search of Sunrise Mountain. Finally discovered I was in the wrong place, and so here I am today, headed to the right place. Okay, let's just walk through this little canyon here. Get a feeling for the experience. Pretty cool. Here we are in Red Rock area. All around us. And just winding through this little canyon. Kind of a neat little stretch. And there you see Sunrise Mountain ahead as we begin to reach the bottom of the canyon. So that's where I want the cairns to be, is showing us how to make the transition from this canyon to the best route to summit Sunrise Mountain ahead. Having come down through that little canyon, now I find it's opening up, and there is a choice of directions to go. And as I suspected, there aren't any cairns now to tell you which way. But I am going to imagine that, you know, there's the view toward Las Vegas, and you can actually see the Rainbow Mountains in the background, and that square top mountain right in the center is Mount Wilson on the far side of Red Rock Park in the Rainbow Mountains. And then you look over this direction, you see the very tip of, I believe that's Griffith Peak there. Snow-capped. So I don't think that you go down toward Las Vegas unless there is another turn that will take us up to Sunrise Mountain. I think this is another route, and there are other trailheads to Sunrise Mountain. Now there's another trail, little trail in this direction, and I am gonna bet that this is the direction we want to go. So taking a right at that junction right here that we looked at just a moment ago. Taking a right, heading up in this direction, and I can see the trail going up over the rise ahead. It's hard to see in the sunrise with the greater light behind that hill, but we're going to give that a try and test this direction out first. If we end up at a dead end, we'll come back to this junction and go down the other way looking for another route upward. We've reached another little fork in the road. These trails crisscross all over the area here, and you can see the sun rising over the ridge straight ahead, so it's hard to see what we're looking at. Now here's a high point, and what I normally do is when I'm not sure where I am, I head for the high points and get out of the washes here where you've got rises on either side and you really can't see where you are. So I'm going to head up to this high point up here and see if that will lead to Sunrise Mountain. It would be nice. If not, I retrace my way and go back the other direction from that junction looking for a route up. Okay, now I'm at the top of that rise. What a great view of the Las Vegas Strip. Another perspective, Potosi Mountain in the background, Rainbow Mountains in this direction. Now looking west. And so what we find up here is it looks like there are a number of ATV trails in this area. And you can see below us and around us. That's not helping us know what trail leads up to Sunrise Mountain. So who knows where that's going to be. I think what I'll do is I'll head down. It looks like this trail below circles around, and I'll look for a route that's going to take us upward. We want to head up toward this ridge, and it looks like the weakness in the wall is going to be right down in this area. Take us up the ridge. I just don't want to hit a head wall that is going to stop us, but I think being that we've got to top this ridge, what we need to do is head down over to this point directly below, and so we'll do that. I'm sure there's a more direct way, but hey, we're discovering the area today. Let's do a quick 360. And again, looking west, Red Rock Park area, Rainbow Mountains, Las Vegas Strip, and then here ahead you can see one of the tips of Frenchman Mountain. And this is the area that we traversed down below. You can see the route of that little canyon we were in. And then here's that high ridge directly across from the Frenchman Mountain trailhead. There's that saddle I was on last week, and another ridge here, and we'll get a better look at across the valley when the sun is in a better position. But yeah, let's head down into this area and see if we can find a way, the best way that's going to take us up to the high ridge of Sunrise Mountain. And there you see, I believe that might be the summit of Sunrise Mountain. So somehow we want to get up there. So we'll try this south side approach. Now I imagine there's a north side approach also, and it looks like one could circle around and head up that ridge on to the east, northeast of the summit. So we could try that also. I don't know if we'll try them all today, but hopefully this will take us up where we need to go. Let's give it a try. There's Sunrise Mountain. We are now back down at the base. It's about 800 feet from the very base up to the summit of Sunrise Mountain. And there are a number of what look like possibilities, but yeah, we're on an ATV route right now. I do not see anything that looks like a trail going upward. So let's continue down in this direction. See if we can find some route that connects, and I believe that well, maybe we should have turned left at that junction behind us, or maybe we'll find the best route on the way back. So this will be pretty experimental heading upward. And again, here we are in this little canyon ATV road, looking for something that is going to guide us up the Sunrise Mountain ridge up there to the summit. So let's just see what we can discover. A little route that splits off, and it looks like there's a use trail. So guess what? I think I'm going to take this for a while, see if that's a route upward. This little canyon route looks like it could lead to the summit. I can see potential ways to weave around the base of this ridge, work your way up to the top of the ridge, and then head on over. But I'm not sure this is the actual connecting ridge. So what I'm going to do is head back down this little canyon back to the ATV road, see if there's another route that looks a little more well-traveled. I mean, this, speaking of well-traveled, this doesn't look like anyone's been on it recently, except for people like me who are heading off in a new direction that isn't actually leading anywhere. So yeah, we're gonna head back down this little canyon and see if we can head back to the south side of the Sunrise Mountain ridge, which may be a ridge on the other side of this ridge in the foreground. I don't even know if this ridge connects with the summit there. Let's go ahead back down this little untraveled canyon to the ATV road, take a right, and see if there's something that looks like a better route on the south end of Sunrise Mountain. Okay, we're back on that ATV trail. Here's the little offshoot that I just got through taking that takes you up around the east side of Sunrise Mountain. And look like there are ways up to the top of this ridge, but I'm not sure this is the main summit ridge. It looks like there might be a ridge behind it. So let's continue down this ATV trail and see if there is a connector that will take us up the south side of Sunrise Mountain. Here we go. Okay, we're on the south side of Sunrise Mountain, and you can see the terrain here. Looked like there was a cairn that could have been marking a trail. Now we're looking east, and you see a trail coming down in this direction. There are rabbit trails all over the place. One thing I can say though is it helps to have been in the area before, because I can see a saddle that I was on last week, some high points, and over this way, the tip of Frenchman Mountain, and down in this direction, Las Vegas Valley, and the Rainbow Mountains in the background. So yeah, it helps know where you are, basically. We're just looking for the best way up Sunrise Mountain. And I think I'm going to retrace my way up this little wash. I saw a cairn in a split-off trail. And I think I'm going to take that, because I think that the place we want to be is up on that ridge over there. So let's go ahead and experiment a little more. By the way, if you're going to experiment around this area, you want to do it, you know, April's getting to be the very last month you want to be experimenting around here, because if you're in July and you get lost in these washes and canyons, and it's 120 degrees and you run out of water, that's could put you in a world of hurt. So anyway, yeah, experimenting, looking for routes up the Sunrise Mountain Ridge. Here we go. Okay, and here's a little cairn off the main canyon on the south side of Sunrise Mountain. Let's go ahead and head in this direction with the thought that maybe this cairn's gonna help us to find a way up the ridge that gets up to the summit of Sunrise Mountain. So here we go. And by the way, here's the little canyon we're in right now. And we thought it was an ATV trail. boy, you're going to have a few rocks to go over if you're in an ATV, but you may still be able to make it. We don't know, not being an ATV driver. Okay, so here we go. And here's a little sign that's down. Las Armas están en uso. So I don't know. I don't know Spanish, but I would guess that we're looking at maybe a sign for a gun range. Who knows? But let's continue on up this little route where the cairn was, and let's see if that's going to lead us up. Okay, some cairns told me to ascend out of this little canyon below us, and it does look like there's the very faintest use trail right here. So let's continue on this and see if this is going to wind around and lead somewhere. I have a feeling at some point it's going to tell us to do a little rock climbing up here, but let's just see. Here we go. Anyway, there's that little ATV trail we were on, and so we took the split off by the Hispanic or Spanish gun sign that we saw just a moment ago. Here's a good view of Las Vegas Strip. Anyway, yeah. And now we're heading more up the south side of Sunrise Mountain. Yeah, what an awesome view of the Strip. And yes, I can hear gunfire. Yeah, there's the Strip. Beautiful. The East Trail ended about as suddenly as it began. Here's a little micro cairn. And I don't know if it's saying continue on up the canyon, or if it's saying take a turn and head up in this direction. I want to head up in this direction, climb over some of these rocks just to get a better perspective of where we are. We know that eventually we're going to want to be up at the summit, which looks like it might be up in this direction. Not sure from this perspective. So that's why I'm going to go ahead and climb these rocks here. And yeah, looking back toward this little use trail, Frenchman Mountain, Las Vegas Strip. And Potosi Mountain in the background. Okay, let's head up these rocks and summit this ridge and just see what we can see from up on top here. On the other hand, I can see ahead some definite cairns in this little valley below. In fact, there's one right down here in the little wash. And so what that's telling me is, and then way up there, there's another cairn. What that's telling me is we need to stay in the wash. So I'm going to head back down to the wash and continue on up, follow the cairns, and see if there's a route that's going to lead to the summit ridge. Yes, if this is right, then that little canyon that you saw at where the gun range sign was, leading off from that ATV wider trail, that little canyon, you just continue on up the canyon. Let's see where this goes. Okay, good sign. There are more cairns here in this wash. And there's a pretty substantial one up ahead. So that seems to be a good sign that we may actually be on the right path. Seeing little discovery Here is some animal that met its doom at this spot. Okay, and continuing up this wash. More cairns. And it looks like if you just look for the cairns and follow them, you're going somewhere. We don't know if it's the destination we want, which is the summit of Sunrise Mountain, or if this is cairns leading somewhere else, but let's go ahead and follow them. Official proclamation. I will not dub this the surgery recovery route. It's pretty rocky, but you can see on the good side, there are cairns marking this wash and seemingly indicating that, yes, continue on up the wash. So let's just continue and see where the cairns lead. Still in that wash that began with the that gun range sign, and another cairn. So plenty of cairns along the way here, indicating stay in the wash. Hopefully they lead upward eventually. And then looking down the direction we came from, and you can see an ATV trail down there, and then Frenchman Mountain. So it always helps to have a general view of the surroundings and landmarks when you're in an unfamiliar place, because of course we need to head back, and we'll want to head toward Frenchman Mountain where we began. So we'll be heading toward that peak there. Across Lake Mead Boulevard, we'll begin to see familiar signs as we get closer. But here's the area around us. Yeah, definitely in a canyon wash that it doesn't look like you go up the sides. So I'm going to continue right up the wash and see if we find more cairns. Okay, looks like we're hitting a wall ahead. I see a little cairn here, but I also see a cairn over here and one way up there. So I think it's a bypass for this wall. So let's just follow these cairns and head around this way and up. Another little cairn right ahead here. And if I were to take a guess, I would say that we're going to go up a little ways and then take a right and ascend to the upper ridge. That's just my guess based on where we are. I do see some cairns further up, and I have a feeling that I'm just hoping that those cairns are very clear where we get out of this wash and begin heading up. And once again, there's the summit ridge up to the summit, and I think that's what we want to be on. Not sure, but we'll find out soon. And just to give you a 360, here we are in this pretty rugged wash, and you can see, I've been following cairns that mark the way, and still some landmarks. You can see the Las Vegas Strip Always nice to know where you are at all times. And there is Frenchman Mountain. And you can even see, if you look closely, you can see the trail going right up between those two peaks and switchbacking up there. So yeah, very clear basically where we are. It'll just be a matter on the way back of finding the right pathway to lead back to Frenchman Mountain Trailhead. But yeah, let's continue on up this way. Alternately, we may be heading up this direction and head up that pathway to the summit. We don't know if it's going to be to the right or to the left, but we'll find out soon. Continuing up this watch, and this is the point where I was thinking maybe we head up this gradual slope, but then I don't know what we encounter up above. So, and I don't see any cairns whatsoever. So I am going to, for now, at least stay in this wash, because I see way up ahead, I see a cairn. There's like no cairns for a long ways, and then way up ahead there is a cairn. I don't know if you can see it. I can't see it in the glare on my screen, but there is one way up there. And you know, I was looking to see if we head up this wall, but not seeing that either. So I'm going to go ahead and continue in this canyon toward that cairn up ahead and just see what we can see up there. Worst comes to worst, we can always come back to this point and just head up this direction. We know that the summit is up in this direction, so I don't know if that's the exact summit or if that's a false summit, but anyway, yeah, let's continue on up the wash. Here we go. These cairns have led me up this increasingly steep wash until finally we hit a class 3 section, and definitely not in my post-surgery conditioning right now. So I am looking down the wash we just came up and seeing that that area that was off to the right, that was more gradual, about halfway down the wash, it's this ridge in this area. This actually looks a little more friendly. At least it'll get me up to a high point where I've got an awesome view. And, you know, worst comes to worst, I'll just return here and keep playing around with Sunrise Mountain until I'm in a better conditioning, or I find an easier way to the summit. Anyway, let's look around. What do we see? There's Frenchman Mountain circling around. Down in this area, Las Vegas Strip, you can see a part of it. Tip of Potosi Mountain above and to the right. And then, just by way of perspective, you see that little winding area, that little canyon that winds through this area. That is the canyon that I came down. And that means that this area right here is where we'll find the saddle to return. And curiously, this area over here is a saddle that I stood on last week. And there's the ridge in between the two that you can clearly see from the the trailhead for Frenchman Mountain. So that gives a good perspective of the area. But I'm going to head down for now and then take a left and head up this more gradual ridge and just see what things look like up there. Now, we don't know if it's going to be a dead end. If it is, then fine, we'll just turn around and come back another day when I can grab onto rocks and pull my body up, which should not be too long into the future. Okay, so let's head back down and take a left down on this, up this gradual ridge here. Okay, again, this is the wash that followed the cairns, and yeah, it goes up there and you can see spots where I guess it eventually winds around to where I hit that class 3 section. And that looks like a valid way to get to the summit, which I think is up in this area. But here, just to the east of that wash, there seems to be an opening. And it looks as if it could lead right up to this area. It's not marked, and so you know, maybe there's a head wall, maybe there's a problem, but boy, it sure looks easier than the wash. So I'm going to head up this way and just see where it leads, because I believe that the wash would eventually, you'd get to the top of that section after some class 3 climbing, you'd take a right and head up the ridge. But if you went this way, you'd have a much more gradual experience and get up to the same spot. So let's just give that a try and see where we end up. So what I'm going to do is, I kind of like this little ridge. I might, well, it looks like this is the way to go, right up this direction. So I'm going to take this direction, see what happens. The worst that can happen is we got to turn around. Again, for perspective of where we are, here's this other ridge. Here's the cairn wash. I'll call it the cairn wash because it's the marked route. And there's Frenchman Mountain. And there is Las Vegas and just a part of the strip on the right. Well, we're closing in on that opening that I saw up there. And this is actually very nice so far. I keep waiting for some head wall that will show me, hey, this is why nobody goes up this way. Because definitely nobody goes up this way. Avalanche slopes, though, after Mummy Mountain are my favorite. And as avalanche slopes go, if they have not been disturbed, they can actually be pretty firm. So you can see over in this direction the wash that I had gone up earlier. I'm already at the same height or maybe even higher than I attained before. And wow, this is what I just came up. It looks a little imposing, but it's actually fairly gradual. And then look at this. There's the Las Vegas Strip. Let's just start at one end and work our way across. There we go. There's the stratosphere right behind it, a little to the left. Yeah, right up here is Potosi Mountain. But you can almost make out every single building on the strip. And then as we move around here, and you can hear a gun range down there. Okay, there's Frenchman Mountain. So that's a pretty good view. And you can see the trail. You can actually see where it switchbacks up to the first summit and then dives down and goes up to the second summit. Just when you think you've made it, you see this downhill, drastic downhill, and then the next summit. And the faint of heart, definitely you're not wanting to do that second summit. Some people think the first summit is Sunrise Mountain, but no, we are on Sunrise Mountain right now, north of Frenchman Mountain. And then looking down, now we want to find our way back, and here is that wash. We just find that wash and take it up and through. There is the saddle we were on, and right on the other side of this saddle is the Frenchman Mountain trailhead. So that's how we'll get back. Anyway, yeah, I'm loving this approach here so far. And I'm thinking that, oh my gosh, there's got to be some barrier up ahead. Otherwise, it just seems like everyone would take this route, which is much more gradual. But there are a lot of people that like to rock climb and don't like this loose stuff. But let's see. No promises till we get up there and see if we can get right through the opening there, and then we'll be way above where we were at the top of the cairn wash. I'll call it the cairn wash. Okay, let's continue. I've reached an end to this route. I thought I saw, yeah, there's the summit up there. But no, we're not going to make it by the route that I have just taken. There are sheer drop-offs definitely to the east side. And by the way, you can see opening up there's the Muddy Mountains. And then looking over in this direction, you can see Black Mesa. Lake Mead's on the other side of that. I think the Virgin Mountains are in the far distance over there. Very faint. And then you can see down in the valley, the base of Sunrise Mountain, all the ATV roads. And here is the wash. You can see it winding around down there. The wash that I took up to, I think it went up this way, to a saddle up in here, and then down to the Frenchman Mountain trailhead. And there's Frenchman Mountain. Then beautiful shot of this strip. And you might be able to hear the gun range below us. But there's the strip. You see the Rainbow Mountains and Potosi Mountain in the background. There's Potosi Mountain. Good shot of just about all the Rainbow Mountains. You see Mount Wilson, Rainbow Mountain, Bridge Mountain. They're all visible there. It's on the Wilson Ridge. Okay, so we're going to circle back around here and see if we can get back down to where we came up, and then find a way that maybe goes up the west side of this little ridge that I'm on. Military jets. See if we can, yeah, there we go. Heading for Nellis Air Force Base. By the way, that wasn't too far to get around the other side of this little ridge. And we can head up further, a little more protected, less exposure. And let's just see where this takes us. Okay, another high point, and we're looking up at what could be the summit or a false summit. We'll have to look at pictures of Sunrise Mountain when we get back. I think that might be a false summit, but from here it would be very possible just to skirt the edge of this slope, no real exposure, and head on up to that ridge and then over to this summit. I'm not going to do it today, but that is an alternate route, and I think it's better than the cairn wash down below, because it was just a very gradual, easy slope, and this may get a little more hairy up ahead, but still it's fairly gradual, and this is at any rate, you'd have to be up on this ridge to proceed. So let's take a look around us. And yeah, I think that in my conditioning today, I'm not up to doing something as steep as this. Though it does look doable on a good day. Okay, and you can see the side of the mountain, and you can see those slabs that were originally horizontal, and they've been pushed up to 60, 75 degree angles. And in fact, I'm on one of those right now. Here's the valley at the base of Sunrise Mountain, and you can see mountains on the far side, and you can see Frenchman Mountain, and those switchbacks right before the false summit, or that first summit. And then, you know, looking down to great view of the Las Vegas Strip. And we go from one end south to north. And look beyond it, straight over to Potosi Mountain, and then to the right, the Wilson Ridge, Rainbow Mountains, and then now for the first time, we're getting a view of the Mount Charleston Wilderness. Pretty cool. And then more of Las Vegas. You can see part of Nellis Air Force Base down there. There's an air control tower. So yeah, beautiful views here. See if I can make the rest of this turn. I'm not in a ideal spot for doing a 360. Yep, here we go. Yeah, we can do it. Okay, so there we are. Sunrise Mountain, and we'll come back in better conditioning and do the final climb up to the summit. But I do like this route better than the cairn wash below. But now we've got to find a way to descend back down to the cairn wash. That should be interesting. Once we get down there, then it'll be a pretty easy trip. Just taking the wash right down below, back over the saddle, right up here, straight ahead, and down to the Frenchman Mountain Trailhead parking area where we started. And by the way, you can see part of Lake Mead down there. And I believe those are the Virgin Mountains in the distance, kind of a shadow. And what else do we have? Maybe, yeah, Black Mesa. I know it's not very clear from this view. And Hamblin Mountain. And there's the Muddy Mountains. Yeah, now that I've been sitting up here for a while, whatever I said about those mountains just a moment ago in the distance, I believe that's the Black Mountains, and Mount Wilson is the high point. In Arizona, page for Mount Wilson on Las Vegas Area Trails. And straight down in this direction is definitely Black Mesa. Page for Black Mesa on Las Vegas Area Trails. Beautiful view of Lake Mead area from the summit of Black Mesa. And then panning over this direction. Yeah, over here, Black Mesa again. And then I believe that's Hamblin Mountain area, right over there. And in the distance, very faintly behind it, a little bit to the left, would be the Virgin Mountains. Who knows? I hope I've nailed it right, but we'll learn when we get there eventually. And then I know these are the Muddy Mountains. Okay, let's make our way back and see if we can wind our way down this slope that's on the other side of the high point here, and find our way back down where we started. We successfully navigated back down the slope, and here we are in Cairn Wash. You can see the area around us. Lots of barrel cacti. And here's the wash with the cairns. And now it's just a matter of following the cairns back down to the ATV road, and then circling around and locating our starting point at the base of Frenchman Mountain. We're back at the main wash or ATV road, and this time I'm going to take a right. I came down from above, but I'm going to take a right, and I think there's a route that goes over this hill, around the other end of the hill, down below, and then up to that area where I enter the original canyon wash, that Red Rock Canyon wash. So let's just see what happens. Taking a right. And just as I thought, saw it from above, here is a bypass route that skirts around the base of this hill. Let's see if it comes out on the trail that will take us up the wash to the saddle and back down to Frenchman Mountain Trailhead. Let's see what things look like up at the top of this. Yeah, it continues along. Let's just give this a shot. Okay, getting perspective. There is Frenchman Mountain. The base of Frenchman Mountain is our goal, and that's the peak behind this ridge in the foreground. Now, I don't think that direction is the direction to the saddle we came down. I do believe that we will find the little canyon that we came down right in this area down here. So let's go ahead and give it a shot. We'll continue on this road and then look for the entrance of that little wash area. That should be the Red Rock Wash if I'm right. If I'm not, then we'll just keep circling around till we find the path of least resistance over to the Frenchman Mountain Trailhead, which is right down in that direction. Okay, Cairn Canyon, and I can say that taking a right down here, thought I'd try it. It looked like it would connect, and yeah, maybe by the gun range one could turn up to Lake Mead Boulevard, but there wasn't a direct connection through the canyon and the saddle. So let's go the way we came and let's retrace our steps. Okay, we're back in the familiar Sunrise Mountain Valley. There's Sunrise Mountain. And the first turn that we took when we went up that canyon on the east side is right up that canyon there at the base of the mountain. And there are the mountains across from the valley. There's a little saddle that we were on last week. And I definitely know how to get back from that saddle. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to head up straight up this way, which is pretty much my memory of how I came here. And once I get up to that ridge up ahead, look down and find the connector canyon that takes us back to the Frenchman Mountain Trailhead. Here we are in familiar ground. We came up this hill this morning. Down at the base of the hill, we take a left and we're going to head up the canyon over here, and eventually at the top we'll reach the saddle that'll take us over to Frenchman Mountain, and you can see one of the tips of Frenchman Mountain up ahead. So we're on familiar ground. It really helps that it's not 120 degrees, but rather it's between 80 and 90 the first Saturday in April. So what we've done today, basically, by way of summary, is come over the saddle above the Frenchman Mountain Trailhead, down a canyon, a little Red Rock Canyon, very beautiful little canyon down there. So we came over the saddle, down the canyon, and then came out somewhere down in that direction, came up this steep hill, a lot of ATV trails in the area, and went down the hill on this side, took a left at the ATV trail at the bottom, checked out the canyon up the east side of Sunrise Mountain, and decided to come back down that canyon. We continued down the ATV trail and found what I call the cairn wash, and we took the cairn wash as far as we could up to the top, and got into some class 3 climbing, which I'm not prepared to do today. So came back down a ways and then reclimbed a more gradual slope, ending up just below that high point up there. And that wasn't the summit, unless we were below the next high point, which would be right up here. We might have been right below that high point, which would be the summit. So I think we were very close to the summit of Sunrise Mountain, just a little beyond my post-surgery conditioning. So we'll come back and finish the last little stretch up to Sunrise Mountain summit. In the meantime, let's head back down and retrace our way through that Red Rock Canyon and then up to the saddle down to Frenchman Mountain Trailhead. So yeah, we didn't use GPS. Probably could have figured out our way a lot better had we done that, but we wouldn't have discovered as much either. Because of our wanderings, I know how these canyons are configured, which makes it a lot easier to handle a future trip up Sunrise Mountain, because there are a number of approaches. So next time we finished going up to that summit there. We were so close, and there you have it. We'll be at the summit of Sunrise Mountain. Okay, so let's head down this steep road, find the canyon, Red Rock Canyon, trace our way back to the trailhead. Okay, we just came down that hill up ahead, and we're just about at the opening to the little canyon that's going to take us back to Frenchman Mountain Trailhead. And I believe that opening is right here. So here we go, up the little canyon, over to the saddle, down to the Frenchman Mountain Trailhead. By the way, things always look different on the way back. Wow, I didn't remember this little split off, but I'm going to head right up this little canyon trail. It's well marked with the cairns, and that should take us back. If not, then we'll do a little more retracing our steps. But it's really good to be on a cooler day than July. There's a decent breeze, and I brought almost 3-4 liters of water. So it helps to have more water than you need. Okay. Here's those hills in better light that have what looks like hair growing on them, and it's just that some of the material there is less susceptible to erosion, and that's where you see this pattern here. You can see Large examples of that in China, where there's limestone pillars that that just go straight up, and the ground around them just eroded and became deeper and deeper over time. Okay, onward. And by the way, same principle at work in the sinkholes in Florida. There's the saddle up ahead. Had a jet mark the spot for us. Approaching the saddle, we get to the top of this saddle and we'll be looking down on the Frenchman Mountain parking area. Okay, just to give a quick 360. There's the valley for Sunrise Mountain on the left. And we were way up there. Back to the saddle. Down on the Frenchman Mountain parking area, Trailhead parking, other side of Lake Mead Boulevard. From the saddle toward the saddle that goes toward Sunrise Mountain. It's been a day of exploration, discovering different routes on the south side of Sunrise Mountain.